Hello, welcome back. Fred in the shed and another video. Now the main part of this video today is going to be on this German-made home-build radio kit that I built, my God, way back in 2014. I think it was just after Christmas. I've never done a review on this, but this generally sits in the shack on the top shelf, and quite a few people over the sort of the years and the months said, "Hey Fred, what is that? And would you do a video on it?" So I thought, well, okay. We'll do a video on this today, and that will be coming up very, very shortly. First, I'll have a little chat with you all because the world has gone a bit crazy, as you know. But if you're interested purely in having a look at this German-built radio kit, I will just leave a little sort of digits up here on the screen. This will be where you can sort of jump forward to miss all of the Fred waffle and just get on and look at the radio. But as I say, I think it's important that we have a little chat. Obviously, the whole world is under threat of the coronavirus, and I'd like to say I hope that anyone watching my videos, I hope you're all safe. I hope none of you have contracted COVID-19. It seems to be a very, very nasty infection. And yeah, I really, really hope that you're all safe and you're all well. In the Fred in the Shed household, we're sort of split at the moment. Half of us are still working because we are key workers, which includes myself, and the other half, the wife, is working from home, and my son, unfortunately, is currently sort of off work and not quite sure what's going to happen with his job. I'm a key worker, so I'm having to go to work, and that's probably a good thing, but it does mean that we are quite a few staff down at work, which means my days are extended, they're a little bit longer. I'm also a health and safety representative at work, which means that before I can even start my usual 8-hour shift, I have to do a couple of hours groundwork on health and safety in the workplace, which is an absolute nightmare at the moment with social isolation, 2-metre gaps between working places and all that. And yeah, so my days are quite long, so when I'm getting home, I haven't really got any time to do any videos for you guys, unfortunately. I have done a couple of videos which I did about a week or so ago over on Fred 2. It's automotive stuff. It's just me having a little chat to you while I do a little bit of automotive work on one of my cars. You might be interested in that. I could do with some views on that video. It hasn't even hit 200 yet. So it's not doing that well. So yeah, I'll leave a link over to Fred 2 in the description. So if you're bored, if you're isolating at home like I know most of you are, if you're bored, well, get over to Fred 2, have a look, check out that video. There's also some radio stuff on there for you radio people, which you may or may have not seen. I do appreciate every view and every thumbs up on Fred in the Shed 2. It is such a small channel. There's no adverts on that either as well. It's completely advert free at the moment. And so yeah, so as I say, not really had a chance to do many videos, but I am kind of trying to sort of build up some things in. I've bought an antenna analyzer now for the radio side of it, and in the better weather and when work gets back to a normal level, I will be building and testing dipole, vertical and inverted V antennas in the garden. Now I've got my little analyzer there. Also on the PMR side, I've been getting quite a lot of views and comments on the Bofang PMR type radios, which we use for PMR. So I've bought another little one in there. You can see it in the background there, a little Bofang Mini, because it seems that the smaller radios are the most popular, and when the sort of the restrictions are lifted and we can sort of go out, not for just essentials purposes, I will be doing a video on that, and we'll be testing that as well and seeing what sort of range we can get out of one of these £10 mini Bofangs. Now CB wise, like I say, I've been missing the 305 net time I get home and sort things out of a bath and that. I've missed it, but I have managed to get on the radio a couple of times this week, and pleased to note that people are still going on our little 305 group. CB radio, you know, in these times when people are self-isolating at home, the media is all very one-sided. I think the media are kind of hyping this coronavirus thing to the max. Every day we're getting an ever-increasing death toll, which comes up on your phone, it comes up on the TV, it's doubling every day, but they're not telling you how many people are recovering. They're just telling you how many people are dying, and that's really, really worrying. And I've got a feeling that the media like to emphasise that because it sells newspapers and it gets people watching their particular TV channel or video feed. So it's CB is actually really quite reassuring, because when you get on CB radio and you talk to your local guys, people that you've spoken to for years, you get kind of, local information, and you can ask them directly, how are you? Are you well? Are you okay? Do you know anyone that has contracted the coronavirus? And mostly it's no. One or two people do know people that work in the NHS that have tested positive, but mostly it's no. And that's quite reassuring to sort of get some proper, unfiltered information about what's going on in the community. And CB is really sort of working very well in that respect. Also, people at home, people are getting quite inventive. 4-Watt Paul, who comes on the 305. Now, normally he's a mobile station. He likes to go out in his car, mobile, but because he's stuck at home, he's built himself, I think he built it or he bought it, a hybrid T2 LT antenna, and he's gone down the bottom of his garden and he's slung that up in a tree, and he's using his Alinco DX135 straight out the back of the box, and straight away he's giving me a plus 10 dB signal, although I'm not too distant from him, but also talking to Robbie 297 on the 305. He's also giving Robbie a plus 9 to plus 10 signal from St Albans to Watford. I don't know how many miles is that, probably 8-9 miles, something like that. But it just shows you what you can do with a little bit of inventiveness, and just sling a wire up a tree and then you're on the air and you're talking to people. So if you're mobile, it doesn't mean the end of your CB action, it just means you've got to be a little bit more creative and get yourself set up as a home base. And I think that's about all I can say, concerning the coronavirus. I just hope everybody's safe and everybody is well, and we just need to sort of muddle through it, and get through it. As I think it was Churchill said, when you're going through hell, keep going, and that's what the country needs to do. This is the radio that we're going to have a look at today. Now, this comes in a kit form. This is a German radio. I bought this through a German sort of electronics company, a bit like Tandy was in the UK, called Conrad. This, was in 2014. I don't believe they make this specific radio anymore, which is a shame, because this has a wooden cabinet, and that was the main appeal for me, was that it's very much a retro radio with a real wooden sort of veneered cabinet. I think they do still make these radio kits. This one has the little vacuum tube in it for the amplification, and there is still a version that's made. I did check on the website. I'll put little pictures up now. And in actual fact, it's quite cheap. It's currently reduced in Germany. I don't know if they still export to the UK, because we're now post-Brexit. We're out of Europe. It wasn't really so much a problem when I bought mine. This radio, I remember paying, I think it was about £50, something like that. It was actually it was a Christmas present from the missus. It was a little bit expensive, and I think there was about £10 or so postage on that. So it's probably come out about 60 quid, probably, I don't know, 75 euros, something like that. A little bit expensive, to be honest, for what it was, but I did enjoy building it. I did take some pictures at the time. It's a very, very easy through-hole soldering sort of kit to build. Nothing, no surface mount or anything like that. Nothing particularly sort of complicated. Now, I have to be honest, and this is probably why I've not made a video on this radio before. When I built it, it was fun. I did enjoy building it. Didn't take particularly long. There's nothing complicated about it. But I think I was a little bit disappointed, perhaps, when we got inside the radio and looked at the sort of components and things like that. For the money that I paid, I think if I'd have paid £20-30, I think okay, but getting on £50 to £60, yeah, I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest. I mean, the radio does work. It's not particularly super sensitive, what you'd expect on sort of FM, and the quality of the components, it can be improved. It's one of those things that I think if you're a tinker, if you like to improve on projects, then it certainly can be improved. The tuning capacitor is very, very sensitive, and I think if you've got perhaps an old VFO or something, a better spaced tuning capacitor, you could probably improve upon that. The switches aren't the best in the world. Speaker's okay. It has got a sort of signal meter. It kind of works when it feels like it, if you know what I mean. I don't think it really sort of relates much to the sort of signals coming in. And the antenna that comes with it, I think it's a little bit short. You probably could sort of extend it. So it's switching on the radio for the first time. Of course, the big appeal of this kit is the vacuum tube. It has nice sort of nostalgic thing about it. It does come with a little LED. You can see I've got a green one here that you sort of touch behind it to illuminate it, to make it ever more sort of present, if you like, on the fascia of the radio. Now it does heat up. I'm going to zoom in just a sort of second. In fact, let me do that now. You can see it has a heating element that's heating up. So let me just zoom in. Right, there you go. Got you in a bit closer. Now hopefully you can see the heating element there, just on the top of the tube, running through the tube there, getting the tube nice and warm. They generally run on sort of 6 volts, and it has got enough power there to heat that. Whether the tube is working, whether the plates are conducting, I don't know. Honestly, don't really understand tubes all that much. I know some people say they're for show. Not sure. You let me know in the comments what you think. But I can definitely confirm that the heater in the tube is glowing. Controls themselves, a little bit interesting. Got a volume control, obviously. Then you've got 2 switches. Now, these are a bit strange. This, for all intents and purposes, seems to be a mute switch. Put it on, sound seems to sort of fade right away. Switch it back off again. Sound sort of comes back. So it just purely seems to be a mute switch. This one here seems to be a kind of hold switch. At the moment the tuning capacitor is active, but if I was to switch this up, now that channel is now locked in the radio. It doesn't matter what I do with the VFO, that then is completely sort of sealed. Switch that off again, and then the VFO becomes active. So it just seems to be, I thought it was an AFC, but it just seems to be a hold button. Up here is these aren't connected on my particular radio, but you can connect these to a sort of wire loop. It is an FM radio, and that's why it comes with a telescopic antenna. Didn't bother with that myself, just used the telescopic antenna. Like I say, it's a little bit fiddly to tune. The tuning capacitor is very, very sensitive. There's a 1 to 10 sort of dial here, no sort of frequencies as such. I suppose you could tune it. It does work, but it does require a very, very sensitive touch. I've got to be careful I don't get any music here.
And shout again, responsive to his call.
Once you get it tuned in,
and long halloos and screams.
Has got quite a nice sound. I think the wooden cabinet helps. This radio here, which is another German built or German kit, is cardboard. Hasn't got quite the nice mellow sort of sound that this has got. Whether it is the sort of vacuum tube producing this sound, or I think it's more to do with the cabinet. I just think it does quite a nice sound to it.
Has carried far into his heart the voice of mountain torrents, or the visible scene would enter unawares into his mind, with all its solemn imagery, its rocks, its woods.
Now, tuning around, I'm pretty sure I've got the sort of signal meter wired the right way, but it seems to sort of work a bit strange. It does increase when you get a signal. But it doesn't always give you the strongest signal when the radio is in perfect tune. Like I say, it's got quite a nice mellow sound to it. It's not that loud though. Yeah, it's not a disappointing sound. It's quite nice. I think that's classic FM, which is quite a strong radio sort of signal. Again, it seems to pick up the strong stations really well. The weaker stations, I think any cheap transistor radio would outperform it, to be honest. It's not particularly sensitive, so it is mainly just for sort of for local FM stations. But I guess it is what it is. It sounds nice. Controls are quite nice, and it's something you've built yourself, and I think that's the part of it. You're not going to want this if you want a particularly fantastic radio, but it's something that you built yourself. So, like I say, this particular model, unfortunately, seems to be no longer available, and that's a shame because they've gone back to the cardboard case, and I think the wooden case does help. Certainly helps with the sound. But the company, Franzis, or Franzis, however you pronounce that in German, is still going. They still have a website where you can go on there and you can sort of view their particular models. I believe they used to be sold on Amazon. I'm not entirely sure if they are sold on Amazon anymore in the UK.
Don't play very often. Charles Valentin Alcan.
But I'm sure if you sort of search around the web, then yeah, you might be able to find a supplier. And as they seem to be discounted at the moment as well, which is another good thing. I wouldn't spend too much money on one of these radios. So there you go. There it is. Something you can build yourself. It certainly does work. Looks okay as well. I did do another kit by Franzis, or Franzis, however you want to pronounce it. This is a shortwave regenerative radio. This one was, I think this was a little bit cheaper, as I remember. It's a cardboard kit. I say it hasn't got the wooden casework, which is a bit of a shame. I think it does open somehow. Oh, there we go. We can have a quick look inside this one. Again, a very, very basic kit. This seems to be the more things, like they're doing. They seem to be sort of doing this as cardboard kits now. Very sort of simple circuit board, tuning pot, variable capacitor, things like that. It's got a smaller sort of speaker, probably about half a watt, something like that. It does have a different degree of antennae, so covering the complete sort of broadcast band on shortwave. Whether I'll do a video review on this one, I don't know. I don't think anyone's that interested. If you're interested, if you want me to do a review on this shortwave radio, and perhaps you want to sort of hear this one working, I haven't got a battery in it at the moment, yeah, drop it in the comments. I probably can knock something out, as I'm a bit shut in on my days off as well. So there you go. So I hope this video was okay. It's not probably my best video, but it's under the circumstances, not too much I can do. So yeah, remember, I'll be chucking some stuff up on Fred in the Shed 2 probably over the next sort of couple of weeks. But as always, and more importantly than ever, I'd like to say, please stay safe, stay in, take care, let's get through this, and yeah, of course, I'll catch you all on the next one. So cheers, thank you very much for watching.